Let's see. No. If 2025 was the racing game and sim racing genre's Cyberpunk 2077 moment, I wonder what 2026 has in store. Here is every racing game you can expect. We'll start with a big one. In fact, the biggest one. Forza Horizon. If the upcoming 6th installment of Microsoft's open-world racing game was a building, it would be the Burj Khalifa, towering over all other racing games. Earlier this year, the last installment was released for PS5, 3.5 years after it originally came out for PC and Xbox. Despite its age, it was the best-selling game on Sony's platform. Not just the best-selling racing game, the best-selling game. Remarkable. Horizon 6 will take that momentum and pair it with the most fan-requested location, Japan. It will even try to replicate the densely populated Tokyo in some form, a type of environment the series has typically shied away from. If the Playground Games development team took Horizon 5's fundamentals and only changed the location, it would already be a hit. We hope, however, the team doesn't rest on its laurels. We'd like to order a greater sense of progression, please. Forza Horizon is so seminal, the developers at Milestone are now seemingly trying to make the two-wheeled facsimile with Ride 6. In the trailer for this new game, there is a festival, a DJ, and dirt racing alongside the existing asphalt. But will it be open world? Unlikely. We think it's simply some cutscene and menu garnish on otherwise the Gran Turismo of bikes. We'll find out for sure soon when this is released in February with over 300 motorcycles. Another upcoming game that seems to have Horizon-inspired elements is Gear.club Unlimited 3, but it's emphatically not open world. Instead, you buy and modify cars from your base before racing them around exotic locations, one of which is even a busy Tokyo highway at night. This was originally planned for a Nintendo Switch 2 release round about now, but it will instead arrive on the 19th of February, followed by PC, PlayStation and Xbox versions later. From one delayed accessible racing game to another, iRacing Arcade. Expect colourful visuals, easy handling, cross-platform multiplayer, and a career mode that involves buying cars, hiring drivers, and some kind of SimCity-style headquarters creation. We recently tested a work-in-progress build, driving each car and most of the tracks, which we'll link in the description for you to watch later. Simply, we love the original Fire Games team behind this and their ethos, but are eager to see if the AI, online, and career mode come together into a cohesive experience. Initially slated for a PC release before the end of December, that version now arrives in February, with console versions following later in the year, adding more cars and tracks. iRacing won't just be appealing to Mario Kart fans, but hardened open-wheel followers, as it creates the first official IndyCar game in 22 years. Developed by a European team previously responsible for Exacross, it will use that off-road game's graphics engine, mixed with core vehicle dynamics from NASCAR 25. You can see hints about this title's prospects in current IndyCar-related track updates happening for the main iRacing simulation, alongside hybrid systems and the creation of the Indy Next car. Expect all of those to be in this standalone release, due second half of the year. If iRacing Arcade and the IndyCar game sound a little derivative to you, Screamer is anything but. Yes, this is technically a series reboot, but in the here and now, this is unlike any other racing game releasing soon. It's a real breath of fresh air from Milestone, which in recent years has only created sequels of either Ride or endless sports titles. Here, there's a futuristic setting with distinct visuals, wonderfully exaggerated fictional cars, a fleshed out story, and car mechanics that are as if inertial drift mated with Tekken. It's all about twin-stick control, but also battling your opponents. There is set to be a narrative-filled story with a character tied to each vehicle when it arrives on the 26th of March. That does mean there's a lot of seemingly disparate elements that need to gel, and it'll be tricky to market something that isn't a well-known franchise. On the flip side, this isn't a well-known franchise, something we arguably need more of in mainstream video games. Which is also exactly what Endurance Motorsport series is. A fresh start for KT Racing, it's an interesting concept that will see you race but also manage your team, as it replicates, well, endurance racing. Once you come into the pits, a teammate will take over driving duties, and you head straight for the pit wall. You can also oversee multiple cars within your squad. Another delayed game, this was pushed back to make sure the online features are further refined before launch, and a closed beta test did take place recently. Traction has also tested early builds of this game at multiple events, and there is promise there. Best not to think of it as having Le Mans Ultimate beating vehicle dynamics, but it did feel an enjoyable mix between sim and accessibility, alongside a unique twist. Let's find out more in early 2026. On the subject of unique driving games, how gobsmackingly gorgeous is the slow-paced overlanding title Over the Hill? Created by the same fun selector squad as Art of Rally, it's captured people's imagination with record Steam pre-orders for the developer. We can see why, as the lush biomes, dynamic weather, and optional online cooperative play have us captivated ahead of release. Plus, unlike actual overlanding, you don't have to wear a fleece. It's due sometime within the next 12 months, with console versions, although it sounds as if the creators have enough bandwidth to push it back if need be. Which is good, as the potential here is bigger than the Yellowstone National Park. Another delightful indie game is Super Woden Rally Edge. Its recent limited time demo had us salivating for more, but it was merely a crumb, alone on an oversized dinner plate. We can't wait to play more, as unlike some other retro-themed driving games, the vehicle handling was enjoyable. If the driving experience was a rare steak, then the graphics were the tasty stuff. Okay, we'll stop with the food analogies. Listen, it's a retro-infused rally game with a huge roster of cars and multiple game modes. We're here for it. We're also here for virtual banger racing, which is exactly what Wreckfest 2 is all about. When the Traction team planned its dream sequel to the 2018 original, our shopping list included these. In early access, Wreckfest 2 has delivered on most of these already, plus a cool crap it, their words not ours, car design tool. Further content, more overtly stupid vehicles please, and a career mode seem to be the final major items needed for this to leave early access. A release date is not confirmed, which is honestly fine by us. Please don't rush this. But it is coming soon, and we know this mainly thanks to Lars. Lars Wingefers used to be the CEO of Embracer Group, a megacorp that owns Wreckfest 2's publisher. He's no longer the boss, following more twists than the final season of Succession, but before he stepped away, he said that the full release of Wreckfest 2 across all platforms is expected before the end of their financial year 2025/26. That ends on the 31st of March 2026. Now, things may have changed, but we'd eat our smashed up Beetle lookalike if this didn't hit a full release within the next 12 months. A somewhat left field choice, the original CarX Drift Racing Online grew a surprisingly large audience over time, with keen fans enjoying the easy to slide dynamics, extensive car customization, and multiplayer. The developers have been working on the open world CarX Street for a number of years, but now that that's been released, it's back to the dedicated drift games, with an early access sequel expected sometime during the first half of the year. Carmageddon Rogue Shift wasn't exactly on our bingo card. We thought the pedestrian-crushing road rage simulation was over since the last failed reboot in 2015 and its Wreckfest DLC appearance in 2021. However, it will be revived, and by former Redout game creators 34 Big Things. The aesthetic and gameplay have been reimagined, as if mixing The Running Man with the Jason Statham death race film. The year is 2025, and it is, naturally, post-apocalyptic. That means a futuristic setting with machine guns mounted on 15 upgradable vehicles. There are some zombies sprinkled in to at least refer back to the 1990s original too. In an era where car combat games have all but disappeared, this bombastic smash-up has us all reaching for classic Twisted Metal games in preparation. The last true dedicated Star Wars racing game was Racer Revenge way back in 2002, so count us surprised when 23 years later, a new one was announced during the Game Awards. Star Wars Galactic Racer is described as a high-stakes reinvention of racing, born in the lawless outer rim of the Star Wars galaxy. What that seemingly translates to is you competing in the Galactic League with land speeders and speeder bikes. Initial details focus on dangerous races, where you can slam, shunt and take down rivals through a single-player campaign or online PvP. Slamming, shunting, takedowns, why does that sound familiar? Ah yes, it reminds us of Burnout. No coincidence then that Galactic Racer is the debut release from Fuse Games, a new studio founded by former developers who were senior on, yes you guessed it, previous Burnout games. I mean, Burnout in space with the Star Wars franchise. We've signed up quicker than a TIE fighter can roll. A quick word from today's sponsor. Looking for the ultimate sim racing experience? Then check out SimX Pro with its range of cockpits, seats, mounts, and accessories, designed for durability, precision, and comfort. Trusted by sim racers and led by real-world racer Johan Ackerman, SimX Pro is reducing the gap between motorsport and sim racing. Visit the website simxpro.com to explore items such as the GT-RS cockpit, made from premium-grade aluminium profile, or the heavy-duty reinforced XT120. And why not get the seat to match? The Torque GT is made from a race-derived composite, and the Olix GP is built to withstand up to 300 kilograms of force. Precision equipment, engineered in the Netherlands, driven worldwide. Drive your dream today at simxpro.com and click the link in the description to find out more. Let's also briefly mention some releases that are not racing games, but driving game fans may enjoy. James Bond returns in March with 007 First Light, replete with driving missions and licensed cars. MI6's finest has Aston Martins, while it looks like the baddies drive Jags. Then, the biggest entertainment launch of the decade, when Grand Theft Auto 6 finally arrives in November. Hopefully, if its release date finally stops changing faster than a dodgy crypto ticker. For truckers, there is Road Kings by Sabre Interactive, making use of the dynamic weather systems seen in SnowRunner and Dakar Desert Rally, although it does have some serious haulage competition. More on that later. Back to racing briefly, there's Retro Arcade Racer 4-Player Grand Prix in February, and Retro Simulation Racer Grand Pro Circuit at some point in early access. So those are the driving and racing games we know for certain are coming in 2026. But now let's take a look at some games that are yet to be announced, but are safe bets. As Milestone and MotoGP have a contract that is publicly running until next year, we'd expect a MotoGP 26 title to arrive on schedule. This is about as predictable as a Yamaha is slow down the straights. Similarly, last year witnessed a reboot for the official Monster Energy Supercross games, so we'd expect another. Meanwhile, Nacon's reboot of MXGP in 2024 was about as enjoyable as a migraine. However, we spoke to the company recently, and they said it would come back stronger. It missed 2025, now's the time for a return. While we're discussing official motorsport games, no, not the company behind Le Mans Ultimate, but video games representing real-world series, we have to wonder, will there be a dedicated NASCAR 26 release, or instead, will its overseeing company, iRacing, release a DLC pack instead? Well, one prominent contemporary that will be implementing the latter is Formula 1. For the first time since before I was in high school, there will be no new F1 game next year. Which sounds like a disaster, but could be a very good thing. Electronic Arts and developer Codemasters Birmingham have taken the bold decision to release a 2026 season DLC pack for the current F1 25 game, and then return in 2027 with something, quote, reinvigorated. It's bold because next season is a year of significant change for the real-world motorsport. New rules mean a lack of DRS and a greater emphasis on electrical energy. Mind you, as this game series has suffered from inconsistent quality over the past half-decade, it is time for a reboot. Which is exactly what Motorsport Games did, yes, we do mean the company this time, with Le Mans Ultimate, escaping the clutches of NASCAR and rFactor 2 and delivering one of our favourite sim racing platforms. Its European Le Mans Series DLC pass will be complete soon, with the Duquesne LMP3 and Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya expected near the start of the year. The big ticket item will be the single player career mode, which the title has been crying out for. Then, speculatively, as the official game of the FIA World Endurance Championship, we'd be surprised if it didn't work on the relevant car upgrades for the 2026 season, with several Evo spec models in Hypercar and LMGT3, plus the all-new edition from Genesis. As ever, iRacing is expected to release 4 major seasonal updates throughout the year. They arrive each quarter like clockwork. What we know so far is that the March Season 2 update will bring revised TCR physics alongside one to-be-announced car for the class, and the Floridian St. Petersburg street course. The aforementioned iRacing Arcade also provides hints at future content, with the Paul Ricard and Bahrain circuits seen here also expected in the main simulation. Race Room will most likely continue to create new content and platform revisions on the back of its successful ranked multiplayer launch. Automobilista 2, meanwhile, is another title with a career mode on the way. Both Rennsport and Project Motor Racing will try to redeem themselves after their rocky beginnings. Game fixes and refinements are the clear priority for both. If they recover, and there's no guarantee at this point, expect a slew of DLC content. A more popular circuit racer, Gran Turismo 7, just released its significant Spec 3 update and Power Pack DLC. We'd expect more monthly updates throughout the year, but can't help but think the Polyphony Digital creation team is predominantly focused on Gran Turismo 8 for further down the line. As for BeamNG.drive, well, there will be updates, but will it be more rally content, drifting, large trucks, monster trucks, a career, simulated UFO crashes, or an updated pigeon? You can never tell with Beam. Meanwhile, fans of open world driving games are in for a treat, as there's not just Horizon 6 to look forward to. During Season 9, starting in March, the Crew Motorfest will add a new playground island, a track-forged circuit creator, NASCAR content and remote control cars. More is expected in Season 10, starting July too. Meanwhile, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown will continue its redemption arc, with 3 main updates expected, culminating in purchasable houses by the middle of the year. While we don't know if their products will be released in 2026, surely it would be the year to hear more about 2 AAA driving games from separate studios, founded by ex-Forza Horizon developers, Lighthouse Games and Maverick Games. So, that's all new games, speculative sequels and updates covered. But what about ports? Numerous existing releases are expected to hit different platforms. JDM Japanese Driftmaster will be on PS5 during Q1, as will Tokyo Extreme Racer. The aforementioned Le Mans Ultimate is in console development, arriving either later in 2026 or early 2027. However, perhaps the biggest platform switch news, both literally and figuratively, is that both Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator should arrive on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles. Meanwhile, DLC content will continue to be delivered for both, with Ireland, Iceland and Coaches among the ETS2 editions. On the US side, South Dakota, British Columbia and even, drivable licensed cars are on the way. We're just scratching the surface with these haulage behemoths. And finally, let's consider the prominent games in early access. Work continues on Argentinian Curio Pista Motorsport, and it did originally state an early access exit in 2026. Perhaps more important is Assetto Corsa Evo. While we won't predict a date for version 1.0, we know that the free roam area surrounding the Nürburgring is set for an initial public launch early in the year, and further classic Ferrari F1 cars will feature at some point, alongside console versions. Its sibling, Assetto Corsa Rally, does look close to a full release however. Again, we don't know anything official, other than expecting monthly updates with new cars, one will be the Skoda Fabia Rally 2, and further laser scan stages. Multiplayer, a career mode, and console versions are in development. Okay, that is a very extensive list, and we actually know of a few more games that are to be unveiled very soon. 2026 is going to be stacked, and Traction will of course be there to cover all of it. As always, we want to hear from you down in the comments below. Which of these games are you most excited for? Are there any we've missed, or are there any you have particularly strong opinions on? Do also leave us a like if you've enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this in future, and keep an eye on the Traction.gg website on a daily basis for all of the latest racing game news. Here's hoping 2026 will be an amazing year for fans of racing and driving games, but until I see you next time, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.